Alright, howdy everyone. This is Alex, and I'm here to bring you Blue Steel tonight. Deck I'm kind of excited about. I'm going to give you just a real quick rundown of what we can expect for tonight. So, Blue Steel is an artifact synergy deck that focuses on using blue creatures as well as cost reduction for various artifact creatures in order to power out a very large walking ballista or a very early lodestone golem, or Traxos, Scourge of Krug, which is a 7/7 trampler. It also has a mana denial backup plan with a Thorn of Amethyst and Lodestone Golem package. Postboard has Trinket Mage to help you find some of your sideboard cards, and Dismember and Vapor Snag for some interaction, as well as Unified Will, since you'll generally have the most creatures on board. This deck is very good against spell-based combos, since Mausoleum Wonder and Judge's Familiar, as well as Lodestone Golem and Thorn of Amethyst, all are very powerful against spell-based combos. So we're going to play competitive league today, and let's get on started. Alright, so I'm kind of excited. This is the first recording I've ever done with Blue Steel, so I'm kind of excited to see how it goes. I have played the deck before. I own it in paper, but this variant's a little bit different. I'm trying Traxos as well as Manamo, which is a land that allows me to untap Traxos since he is legendary. As well as Traxos having his own built-in untap clause whenever we cast an artifact, which we have a large density of in our deck. We're hoping to be able to power out some early Lodestone Golems. That would be ideal, but you'd be surprised how often the little 1/1 flyer beatdown plan gets there, especially if we're able to stick in a Signal Pest along with them. So let's see what we can get to pop here and see what we can get going. I'm kind of excited. Hopefully we get some good playable hands and some good, either some good interactive magic or just absolutely running over our opponents. I'm completely fine with either one. However, it's actually a surprisingly long time for the queue, for considering it's a modern queue. Didn't accidentally go into the legacy queue. So let's see what we got here. We got a match. Bet our opponent isn't expecting us to be playing Blue Steel today. Alright, let's go ahead and minimize the chat a little bit here. Bring the window up here a little more. Alright. So we got some lands, we have a Smuggler's Copter, and we have a Lodestone Golem. It's not our strongest net hand, but this hand seems, serviceable. We can go ahead and yield through this turn since we have no interaction. Oh no! Celestial Colonnade definitely signals that we will be having lots of interaction this game. So we're going to lead on Blinkmoth Nexus into Signal Pest and firmly convince them that we are Affinity. I wonder what their play is going to be based on that. Interesting. Alright, so that's a great draw because we get to, see, Ethereum Sculptor makes artifacts cost 1 less, so we just get to kind of jam the Signal Pest for free. So while we won't attack for any damage this turn, next turn, we can actually double Smuggler's Copter, or just jam a Lodestone Golem. I'm a fan of probably just jamming the Lodestone Golem, since the Signal Pest along with the Ethereum Sculptor are going to attack for plenty. Hopefully we're not about to get the D here. We got the D. Ooh, that's brutal. So our attack plan just got roughed up a little bit, but that's okay. Still gonna go ahead and set him back quite a bit by jamming this Lodestone Golem. 3 mana Lodestone Golem thanks to Ethereum Sculptor in play. And we're actually gonna go ahead and bring this down a little bit to give us a little bit more playing field. Beginning of combat. Jam for our 1 point of damage. Trust me, there's going to be a lot of 1 point of damage swings this league. Alright. So, unfortunately, getting both of our Signal Pest Detention Sphere there says way back. Luckily, our opponent is not holding up Cryptic Command this turn, thanks to this card right here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and play a 1 mana Smuggler's Copter. And a 1 mana Smuggler's Copter. And we actually have two options here. We can either play a walking ballista, or we can beat in for one. I'm actually a fan of beating in for one this turn, and going for a bigger ballista next turn. So we're going to go ahead and swing in here for 7, and pass the turn back to our opponent, who's probably wondering what they're playing against. Condemn our Lodestone Golem. Well, okay. Someone came prepared to face against some Death Shadow today and paired against some Bluesteel instead. That being said, you know, very likely he just smashed the hell out of us, because Lodestone Golem's probably our best threat. Oh no, Spreading Seas. Oh no. Alright, so that was a great draw because this reduces it by 1 anyways. So, and now we can crew both Copters and attack with the Ethereum Sculptor. So this allows us to tax whatever our opponent plans on doing. So that's going to go ahead and resolve, and then we get to cast this Walking Ballista for 2. Pew pew. What you gonna do? Try and counter it? Yeah, that's what I thought. So we're gonna crew 1, crew it with this. We're gonna try and hit in the air for 6 damage with these Copters and 1 on the ground, so 7 total. Let's go. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and decline to loot because there's no value we have in the graveyard. We will absolutely take that land, even if we are a little sad that we're losing a Copter. Because I think we will kind of want to keep Mausoleum Wanderer active. No, we will not loot. Anyone thinking that we should have sacrificed? Note that they would have just paid. Ooh, timely reinforcements. Well, we are firmly in a higher life total than them, so that will most definitely be timely. Ooh, that's a good draw. Alright, so unfortunately, it's only going to be a Walking Ballista X equals 3. That being said, I think this Walking Ballista X equals 3 should be pretty darn good. That's fine. No. Our opponent appears surprised by our onboard trick. Not sure why they would be, it was onboard. Alright, let's go ahead and crew up. I think we just smash in here. No loots. Main deck timely. Deprive. Taking a little peek at their graveyard here, it seems pretty darn solid. They got a lot of fun stuff going on, don't they? Alright, so we'll be crewing with Ethereum Sculptor in the future, because of things like Wall of Omens here. Alright. So it looks like a turn where we're just going to go ahead and put a counter on a Ballista. Most definitely a turn where we're going to put a counter on a Ballista. So we're going to go ahead and crew Ethereum Sculptor. We actually want the Blinkmoth Nexus over a random draw. That's why it's not worth holding it for the loot. Alright, let's go ahead and get in there. Opponent doesn't have really great blocks here. Interesting. Okay. Ascanta. I think if they're going to go ahead and tap down, we're going to go ahead and add a counter to our Ballista here. And after combat, we're going to go ahead and shoot the wall for 1. They're probably a deck that has a Restoration Angel if they're also a Wall of Omens deck. And what this will do is allow us to... Ooh, is this into a path? That's pretty good. Alright, sure. Alright, so... deal the damage. Shoot the wall. Pass turn to my opponent. Okay, opponent, you're at 13. You do have an Azcanta going on. It's drawing my opponent a lot of extra cards. Supreme Verdict. Well, I would call that in the upper percentage of things my opponent could hit with their Azcanta. Supreme Verdict. Well, that's going to be a little brutal for us. 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can add 2 counters onto our Ballista. So we're going to go ahead and pew pew, shoot that. Go ahead and move into combat. Swing with all these. Cool. Put a 1/1 counter on this one. Put a 1/1 counter on that one. You died. Sweet. Alright, sideboarding. Luckily we already have like no removal main board, so that's very good against control. Also these thorns are pretty darn good. Unfortunately we have no real way to recover from a Wrath effect other than this Hangerback Walker. So Traxos unfortunately just gets pathed, killed, whatever in this matchup. So he kind of needs to come out. I don't think Grafdigger's Cage is just worth it for Snapcaster Mages, but I definitely feel that the 7 creature disruption package is really good against everything but Verdict. And ironically, Thorn and Lodestone Golem are very good against Verdict because they stop it from being cast. I don't think Pithing Needle is worth it for Celestial Colonnade. Same with Dismember. Even though they showed me Wall, I don't think that's very good. A lot of our threats fly, so I'm willing to hit submit here. See what our opponent's willing to bring us for game number 2. Okay, so this is a Chief Engineer and Thorn of Amethyst hand. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. Our best draw is one of our blue 1-mana disruptive creatures, like a Judge's Familiar or a Mausoleum Wanderer. Fortunately, never that lucky, so we're going to go ahead and lead on Blinkmoth, even though we're 100% not going to attack with it on 2. Who knows, maybe our opponent thinks that they're extra smart and Ghost Quarter it, or it's the Writing Season. We got him. Oh no, they've Ghost Quarter, or they've Spreading Seized our important land. However, will we attack them for 1? So I think now is about the time that we start thorning them, because it doesn't affect our deck very much, but it affects theirs a lot. So let's go ahead and play the second Blinkmoth Nexus, and go ahead and jam the first Thorn. Note that next turn, we'll play a Chief Engineer instead of a Thorn, or if, well, we probably just play the Thorn, since we're not really ramping into anything at the moment. I think Moto's lagging. I think our opponent's wondering why the hell there's a Thorn of Amethyst in our deck. It's because we're an aggressive deck opponent. You wouldn't know because we have, like 6 lands in our hand. But we're an aggressive deck, so this Thorn of Amethyst is hopefully going to benefit us more than you. That being said, you're probably just going to untap and play a Wall of Omens and laugh at me, right? Did not play the Wall of Omens and laugh at me. That's pretty good. Woo, Grand Architect, huh? That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. Alright. Let's go ahead and play as Grand Architect because they gave us a blue source. And then we'll go ahead and yield through the end of the turn. Even if they have the Monoleak, which they've showed us game 1 that for some reason they are on a Monoleak and a Deprived version, they can't do anything about that Grand Architect in that fashion. They can path it now, but that's fine. Pew. Alright. So we need kind of a big threat here, like a Walking Ballistic type of threat would be real nice. Oh good, they're Detention Sphering our Thorn of Amethyst. It's going to feel good to untap and play another one. Alright, so let's... Ooh, Ethereum Sculptor. Alright, so now I get to kind of demonstrate one of the synergies of the deck. So Chief Engineer, artifact spells have Convoke. So now we can Convoke out Ethereum Sculptor since he's an artifact spell. Then, since artifact spells now cost 1 less and have Convoke, I can place 1 mana Thorn of Amethyst and bash my opponent in for 1. I might have wanted to play the Chief Engineer, but if my opponent does have the 5 mana for this Supreme Verdict this turn, they'll probably use it on my 2 creatures already. And while it's not a lot, 1 power to rebuild is, you know, some amount of threat. Opponent has Spreading Seas from either Blinkmoth. Okay, so definitely should have played the other threat, but that's okay. I can play this down because it looks like I'm flooding, but really that comes back to my hand at any time for Smuggler's Copter or something. Alright, let's get our super mediocre beats on here and get in for 2. Alright, let's see what we got here. More Path to Exile. Ooh, a wall. That's actually annoying because that'll save him a lot of points of health this game. We are definitely at the flooding point now. Okay, we're at the flooding point a little earlier, but that's okay. Wonder how many more lands their deck plays than ours. Not like Salt or anything, just curious. They think we missed our land drop. Little do they know. That's a good one. Alright, so opponent has Cryptic Command. 2, 3, 4, 5. They finally got to the point they can use it, so let's go ahead and move to combat. Hit him again. Yes, good. Cool. That's perfectly fine because I didn't care how much my Lodestone costs. Obviously, I have 1,000,000 mana, but that does take them off of Cryptic Command, which was my main concern there. I can now play it, I believe, through a Mono Link because I don't think I've played my land this turn. Remember when we played that Oboro just to, you know, it can return to our hand at any time? Well, guess what? Now, it's making sure we play through Mono Link. Oh, do they have to Prive or something? Oh god, sorry. Ceremonious Rejection. Sure. That's a good one. Alright, well, that was a good turn for my opponent. I got Ceremonious Rejectioned. Alright, time. I can't beat him for 1 because Celestial Colonnade will eat one of my creatures now. So now I get to give the turn back to my opponent. Little known secret, beating the control deck is to give them lots of turns to draw extra cards, because then you get to draw lots of extra cards too. Unfortunately, you ideally wish to do this when your opponent is missing land drops, which my opponent does appear to be doing. Alright. Does my opponent have that Deprive or anything? Oh no, woohoo, we got a Smuggler's Copter. So, Smuggler's Copter not actually that excellent to resolve because they have this Colonnade. So, you know, pros and cons. They have a lot of hate for... There's a really good draw. Alright, let's go ahead and play this Grand Architect. Now our Smuggler's Copter trades with Colonnade if they want to trade. Deal. Crew 1, let's go. Maybe they want to trade or get a free thing in on a Chief Engineer. That could be. Ooh, pathing my Smuggler's Copter. I mean, yeah. Can't activate Colonnade anymore? Perfect, can't activate Colonnade anymore. Alright, let's get in for a mediocre 2-point beat. Keep working towards winning the game. Don't know what our opponent could possibly be on this point. Maybe they have a handful of ceremonious rejections, and they're going, I can counter every spell they have. Not sure. Definitely blew out our Lodestone Golem, which was our main route to victory this game, as Lodestone Golem combined with the Thorn of Amethyst tends to be very hard for blue-white control to beat. That being said, in the future they will definitely have these colonnades back up. Or not. Or they'll verdict us. That's fine. That was about the best post-verdict draw I could have hoped for. Alright, they have no 2-mana counterspell they could possibly have. So, 8, 9, 10. Alright, cool. Here's a 5/5 Walking Ballista. Your turn, opponent. You have another Ceremonious Rejection. Do you have another Ceremonious Rejection? You have a Logic Knot that you delve the additional cost. Alright, cool, that's fine. I cannot pay one additional for Logic Knot. Admittedly, with all the cards they had in their graveyard, there was no real amount we could have realistically cast that for, where we were threatening our opponent and beating a Logic Knot. So I don't mind playing into that there. I personally thought that they were a mono league, although I've mentioned Logic Knot a few times here because it is a card they sometimes play. I do have it set to Bluffing Miracle because I do enjoy playing Legacy as well. And even though my Legacy deck is not a Miracle deck, by bluffing, I should stop yielding that. While I'm very doubtful this will resolve, let's cast it. It's useful to have because it gives the opponent the pause, especially if you lead on something like Polluted Delta. Cryptic Command? Seems reasonable. Alright, let's give the opponent a turn back, since they tap their Field of Ruin. Unfortunately, as long as they have their Field of Ruin untapped, which since there's tapping all that, I can go ahead and yield. Baneslayer Angel. Think I can get him to use another Supreme Verdict? Probably not a Signal Pest. I don't think we can get back from that. So let's go ahead and move to... We're actually the one down on clock, so... Is it worth it to dismember knowing they have that? It can't be right? Yeah, no. Most definitely. Although it's very interesting they brought in... Alright, let's go. So they have Ceremonious Rejections. This can be a very aggressive hand. I don't think it hits for enough damage quick enough. This hand relies pretty heavily on Thorn of Amethyst, but I'm much more a fan. Mausoleum Wonder unfortunately won't be there. If we were on the draw, we'd want that 100%. But since we're on the play, we want to jam this Thorn of Amethyst on turn 2. Was Smuggler's Copter on turn 2? That's good, because we know when we cast Thorn of Amethyst, it won't be Ceremonious Rejectioned. Ooh. I think it's 100% correct to now cast the Ethereum Sculptor. Because now I can lead on Smuggler's Copter, and if they do have a counter spell, I can follow it up with Thorn. Maybe I get lucky and they just path me. Oh, that's cute. Alright, so Smuggler's Copter's kind of offline, but Stony Silence is not nearly that amazing against us. So let's go ahead and cast a Thorn of Amethyst. I'm also going to cast a Walking Ballista for 1. Just to get some, power on the board. The Smuggler's Copter is actually dead, so that's kind of funny. But for the most part, our deck can play fairly well around the Stony Silence. Next turn, hopefully we can draw an island, and we can demonstrate that to our opponent. About the next best thing next to an island. Another tax effect. Opponent's thinking. Maybe they're thinking about pathing us. Flashing a Snapcaster Mage. I can no longer shoot the Snapcaster Mage with Walking Ballista. Stony Silence is definitely a real card that I was not at all concerned about. See what we got. Maybe our parents grab me a soda. They'll be back in a minute, I'm sure. Alright, so let's see how can we win this game. So, if we draw another island, we're obviously jamming this Grand Architect, which gives us 4 Mana Torch artifacts, which puts a 2/2 Ballista in play. Next turn, we can make both the Ballistas blue, swing in for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total damage. I mean, that just seems like the most reasonable line. Ideally, we would have drawn the island this turn, because we still get to put the same size Ballista into play. Apparently they're back now. So, Ethereum Sculptor is what you're trying to hit with a path. I think that's fine because it's actually going to guarantee that I get another island. So yeah, deal. And I still get the same size of Ballista because Mausoleum Wonder is indeed a blue creature as well. So once again, the Smuggler's Copter is actually turned off by Stony Silence, so they've at least 1/1 me. But, missing a land drop is not ideal for my opponent. What would be absolutely, completely ideal for us at this point would definitely be to draw a Lodestone Golem, because that would, I think, just put the game completely out of reach for our opponent. Alright, so let's see what we got. Grand Architect. Not a bad creature, but unfortunately... And it turns out they did not miss the land drop, so they main phase 2'd it. Okay, that's fine. I can Ballista for 1 more if I wait a turn, but I think it's more correct to go ahead and get the pressure on the board now. So let's go ahead and tap a blue creature, spend 4, cast an X equals 2 Ballista. Alright. Let's get to combat and let's go ahead and punch in. Punch the clock, get to work, Walking Ballista. We actually don't have any... turn off auto yields. We got a 2/2 Mausoleum Wanderer, so let's see what we can do with that. Snapcaster Mage is fine. Targeting Path to Exile. What you gonna path, bro? You can't path that, bro. Path this one. Oh, wait. Nah, that's good, bro. Didn't block. Well, that means they probably don't have a Supreme Verdict, right? Would definitely blocked if they had a Supreme Verdict. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Okay, sure. Island here's a pretty good draw. Signal Pest, you say? Sure, let's go. Boom. Alright, so Chase the Mind Sculptor. I wonder if we're about to get Terminus. We unfortunately have to go for him because we are definitely not taking down the Chase and then taking down him. We just don't have enough power. Ooh, that's brutal. That's brutal indeed. Alright, let's see what we got here. We got us a Blink Moth Nexus. We cannot activate our ability to put a counter on our Ballista. Let's hit for 2. Once again, even though I understand that Jace is drawing us a card every turn, we have no option but to try and get our opponent to 0. And summoned our Ballista. Alright. Put themselves down land, but definitely. Oh god, that's just wonderful. Alright, so I can now make a bigger Ballista. But unfortunately, I cannot attack this turn. See what my opponent does next turn. Once again, no relevant activated abilities that can be activated. My opponent somehow says destroy target non-creature permanent targeting Blinkmoth Nexus. I'll be punished. But I don't think that card exists in blue-white, so I think we're fine. Alright, let's go ahead and... So, they lose their Jace if we go to the beginning of combat, and they don't... Cryptic Gust. I'm gonna go ahead and activate this, because if they do Cryptic Gust, that's fine. I'll just Ethereum Sculptor. Alright. Attack Mudhole Crew, attack Mudhole Crew, attack. So it's 3, 4, 5. That's half his life total. So no, I have to go after him, unfortunately. Settle the right. Oh no. Okay. Yep. Let's get a couple lands, chat. Alright. Let's go ahead and play our 1-2 and pass the turn. That was brutal. That was brutal. I don't think we can win the game any longer. As a positive note, it didn't matter whether I attacked Jace or them. Yeah. This Fury I'm probably conceding, because, you know, reason. Okay, cool. Give our opponent GG's. Go ahead and scoop it on up. Alright. So we're starting 1-2, so that's not exactly ideal, but we're moving on to the next one. Let's see if we can turn this around. Rough game. Happens. It's all good. Alright, so I'm looking forward to hopefully pairing against Storm. That's actually one of our better matchups. Or Ad Nauseam, also one of our better matchups. So let's see if we can hit one of those. Alright, this hand is pretty good. Lands, disruptive creatures. Let's see if we get Thoughtseized on one. No, not another Flooded Strand deck. Not another Flooded Strand deck. I don't want another Flooded Strand deck. Alright, let's go. As a positive note, if they Path Hiving on one, we're perfectly fine with that. I don't think we can get that lucky though. So, cool thing is we're going to get the whole free Signal Pest on 2 things, so we'll be able to go Ethereum Sculptor into Signal Pest. Hollowed Fountain, yeah. So I wonder if they're on blue-white control or if they're on like spirits. That's no help. They are definitely blue-white control, 100%. So that is the clock that they have now established. That is one of the better draws we could have, because now we tap these 2 Ethereum Sculptor, play Signal Pest, get to combat, get Bastion for 1. Meanwhile, our opponent's going, what the hell just happened? They played a Mausoleum Wonder on 1, and then to Ethereum Sculptor Signal Pest. Ideally, we're going to turn off our auto yields here, because Mausoleum Wonder can actually counter some spells here. They bend a counter spell. Well, that's a good thing for us, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and slam this Lodestone Golem next turn, assuming that I'm able to. You know, this is in play, which is pretty likely with a Mausoleum Wonder, mind you. Mixer spell. Oh, good gosh, they have a tap land. That's wonderful. Alright, so. Oh, what we got? Path on my turn. Okay. It's a good line of play for my opponent. Unfortunately, gonna have exactly the desired line they were looking for. However, we had a very good draw there, so we're gonna be able to just slam a few things into play. Let's go with this Mausoleum Wanderer, which will pump up this Mausoleum Wanderer. And I'm actually going to get the Smuggler's Copter into play over this Judge's Familiar, because I can use it, Judge's Familiar to Crew Copter next turn. Alright, let's go ahead and get in there for 3. It's a little bit better of a clock than we had against our last blue-white control opponent. Although the Search for Azcanta, of course, puts the game out of reach pretty fast. Let's hope to not get Settle the Wreckage again. That was brutal. That was brutal and a half. Alright, so Serum Visions is fine. I don't care. Cantrip away. I'm sure you're looking for Wrath of God, which is unfortunate for us. But I think I'm actually on a tap 4, cast Lodestone Golem, Crew Smuggler's Copter next turn. Oh. I mean, starting like in a turn or two, this colonnade start to get kind of scary. Alright, Lodestone Golem's just absolutely what we do here. Oh, good. It just immediately resolved. Alright, let's go ahead and go to combat. Punch away. Triggers on the stack don't really matter on these particular order. Let's draw. Yeah, I think we actually discard the Judge's Familiar here, because Walking Ballista is just going to give us so much end game here. Alright, hit our opponent 7. Go. They absolutely have Wrath of God isn't out here. Or not Wrath of God. Wrath of God we easily counter. Unfortunately, Supreme Verdict, not nearly as lucky. So, let's find out what our opponent's gonna do. Unfortunately, I have a friend that just requested a challenge against me, but I'm currently recording, so I'll have to hit him up later. So, do you have... You do not have. Alright, cool. So, same play as last game. We're going to go ahead and bring in this Hangerback Walker. Take out the Straxus. Hit submit. Do we want Pitting Needle for Search for Azcanta and their Planeswalkers? Actually might be reasonable, which means I might have just misboarded in my last 2 games. But this is good, because this is why we're playing to learn. So this is a little bit slower of a hand, but we do this on 1. Currently no turn 2 play, and deck not helping out with that so much. But that's okay. 3 is going to be Grand Architect, and then 4 is going to be Lodestone Golem. It's a very, very, very slow hand, but we can hope to draw something on turns 1 or 2. Maybe we get lucky and they path our Signal Pest. Not likely, as our opponent seems to be very confident in their deck, and we are going to go ahead and draw a few lands, so pass it back to them. I see no reason not to do this. If there was anything that punished me for that there, I fully deserved it. I will completely agree with that. Alright. Alright, so we can play this into the... We can just play this this turn. If we do, we're playing minimally into Supreme Verdict, and Lodestone Golem comes down next turn. That being said, afterward, yeah, let's just force them to see if they verdict just this. Once again, Logic Knot is more popular in these decks. Okay, that's fine. So we're definitely going Mausoleum Wanderer into Lodestone Golem next turn. Opponent, unfortunately, expertly making all their land drops. We prefer opponents that miss a land drop or 2 so we can capitalize on that with our tax effects. Unfortunately, opponent's deck is a very high land count deck and is usually able to hit their land drops. So let's see what they're doing next. Ancestral Vision with 4 counters. Okay then. So I I still think I want to lead on this Lodestone Golem. No. I want to lead on this Mausoleum Wanderer. But I think I'm still going to play this Lodestone Golem. Even though likely it's about to get pathed. Very likely it's about to get pathed. Unfortunately, because of my sequencing, unfortunately for my opponent, because of my sequencing, I can counter their path by sacrificing Wanderer. So ideally we need to kill them before this thing comes off suspend, or we will die. If you just want the, long and short of it. Colonnad's now active as a blocker. Colonnade will no longer be active as a blocker. There goes our Lodestone Golem, most definitely. Alright, cool. To the Lodestone. Alright, so mediocre beatdown plan. No, not another land. Alright, boom. Let's get in there for 2. I wonder if we should just concede this and move on to the next game, see if we can go ahead and fight through, but you know what? We got a couple signal pests. Opponent might not have Verdict. Maybe they cast Search for his Contour or something where they don't have Colonnade up another turn. Who knows? This vision coming off, though, does not give me much hope at all. So, let's see what they got. They are definitely casting something. It is a Teferi Hero of Dominaria, which just cannot counter. They're going to draw a card, which seems perfectly reasonable. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can kill Teferi. I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna try and kill Teferi. So let's go ahead and go to beginning of combat. I'm gonna attack with all creatures at Teferi and see if it was just a 5 mana draw card. Was it? It was 5 mana draw card. Okay, sure. I guess also Fog. So draw a card Fog, sure. This is my Traxxas. My Traxxas is big. Oh, good. I can. My opponent really messed up here because I can float a blue and return it to my hand. So my opponent just stun drained themselves. Countered because it has no legal targets. That being said, my so smart technical play is probably about to get smashed by the fact that they're, a much better deck. Wink, wink. Alright, so I'm kind of curious what my opponent's going to do here. I'm hoping it's not Verdict us. Interesting. Apparently appears to be on the Cryptic S plan, which is a very solid plan. They likely will not be trying to hit Ouroboros again. Unfortunately, we're putting Manamo in this time. So we actually have to shoot first here. So, here. And they're probably going to Cryptic tap us, and then we're going... Oh, please do it in response. Oh, you're... Alright, cool. Yeah, this is going to be quite the swing. That's at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Hit them to 3. Sorry about that. They are at 3. So because they are at 3 and dead to our onboard pressure, I'm actually just going to pass the turn. They're going to Field of Ruin us, which is fine. Or not. A little surprised not to see the block with the Colonnade there, then. Opponent's kind of at Wrath of God or bust. Another Field of Ruin. Seems pretty good. Tormanes. There's no reason for me not to do this and tap them out. I will put the rest on the bottom in any order. Any order is fine. I have no intention of seeing the bottom of my deck again. I am going to play Saburo out again and see if I can get a misplay, while simultaneously putting, a grand total of 2 power in play. Oh, second, I'm actually going to overpay because the second one's going to cost 1 less. Not that it matters, but yes, technically it matters. Alright, so we are very likely to lose this game. I realize my opponent is at 3, but unfortunately, unless they tap very low, or we can sneak in a Walking Ballista off the top, we have no actual reach. So, hopefully our opponent plays something like Jace the Mind Sculptor. Ooh. Maybe they're snapping a Terminus? Are they snapping a Terminus? They are snapping a Terminus on our 2 dudes. I am 100% down on what my opponent is trying to do. Go for it. Yes. Deal. They paid 8 mana to do what we just paid. Oh. Baby. Alright, cool. Everything we draw from now on hits them, potentially. They do have a Colonnade, though. It's a lethal threat. So, see what we got here. You cannot cast your threats, because if you do, you might die to mine. I love it. Alright, here's Mausoleum Wonder. Are you scared? Are you nervous, opponent? Are you wondering what's gonna happen? Okay, that was pretty bad. But nonetheless, okay, beautiful. Alright, let's go ahead and crew this up, because yes, I realize that there is a Celestial Colonnade on that side of the battlefield. Unfortunately, this is an island in our hand, and if they have to activate Celestial Colonnade, we might be able to draw a Walking Ballista off the top here. Unfortunately, it was a Thorn of Amethyst, which is not going to do us much good. Opponent correctly decides that they should take the block so that it's not a lethal attack. And I think we're still going to jam this Thorn of Amethyst. And pass the turn to them. Once again. They also run a Manama. That's cute. Straight up negate. Sure. Alright, so ideally they want to start hitting us with their Colonnade, because, no one's going to live forever. Alright, let's play Judge Familiar and pass the turn. But we really want to draw a Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista. Oh, and for those asking why I didn't sacrifice for the negate, I mean, it's a Thorn of Amethyst, and we both have 1,000,000 mana. I am so happy to trade Thorn of Amethyst for negate, I can't even tell you, and I don't even know how many legal targets are in my deck. That might be it. Alright, so there's no point in attacking the Colonnade this turn, because it's not like we get to loot. So pass the turn back to them. Alright, so they are correctly Field of Ruining something that actually does something this time, so let's go ahead and let that happen, because we've got 1,000,000 basics to get to, just like our opponent. Let's see if they go for the double Field of Ruin. That would be interesting. Nope, they have learned to stop the Stone Raining themselves. Good play on our opponent. Of note, we're actually up almost 2 minutes on clock. Alright, so opponent can single activate a Colonnade. Might have a Snapcaster Mage. Getting him for 1 damage doesn't seem super relevant. Let's see if we can Thorn of Amethyst. Does that provoke a Cryptic from the opponent? Okay. You can have your turn back then. Let's go ahead and turn off auto yields about here, just in case. Alright, cool. Unfortunately, this deck is not very auto yield friendly. Well, that's a little awkward. So, We actually have to wait for them to put it on the stack, which is going to cost them 3 mana. So we should have hit in for 1 damage there. So now we target the spell on the stack, counter it unless they pay 1, which they will. Now we're going to counter it unless they pay 1 again, which they shouldn't. Let's see if they actually do. Good, they correctly identify that there's no point in paying mana anymore, since they will not actually kill anything. Not a big thing. Not a big thing. Just hit me with your colonnade. Just hit me with your colonnade. Uh-oh. What's all this then? Alright, it is just hit me with colonnade. Alright, cool. Which is good because with Thorn of Amethyst in play, that means Walking Bliss is amazing here. It is a Signal Pest, unfortunately. I'm going to go ahead and hold this in hand, as there's no real reason for me to play this out. I have 1,000,000 mana, and if I actually draw something that can hit, then I'll do it that turn. Yep. I actually cannot even block this colonnade with it, so that's not even a line. They tap both their Field of Ruin, so I'm good to go ahead and auto-yield through their turn. Cool. Alright, our turn. Therium Sculptor, huh? Alright, well. Ironically, by waiting, Signal Pest is now free. Do you wish to counter my Therium Sculptor? Okay, here's Signal Pest. Alright, so not many draws to make that very good, however, it is what we're doing. Ironically, Dismember would be a really good draw here, but really what we want to draw to is Walking Ballista, especially since they don't appear to have a counterspell. I like it. Alright, so we're gonna go to combat here. Oh. Huh. Okay. Sure. Interesting line on the opponent's behalf. So I will now cast a Smuggler's Copter for 3 and pass turn back to them. Nice. Okay. Opponent played this very well, where leaving me with my only out being once again Walking Ballista. So let's see if we can rip it off the top. We do have enough to pew pew for lethal, so let's see if we can get there. Oh, Hangerback Walker, so close. Let's go ahead and cast it for the full value, so if they have Mana Leak or something, they can know that they were dead if it was a Walking Ballista. Cool, they had the counterspell anyways. Good games, opponent. Alright, so Needle seems like it's reasonable in my deck. Second Monamo seems bad since they have literally 1,000,000 Field of Ruins. Holy shit. Alright, let's move on for game 3. We are pretty up on the clock, so let's see if it comes down to that. If the spinning wheel saves us from a colonnade, I will be laughing, because I did not think it was good enough, but thinking with all their planeswalkers, it probably is. Alright, so this is a hand that's amazing with any payoff, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it, because literally any payoff is amazing. So we're going to lead on the Monamo to entice them to go ahead and Field of Ruin us. So we really don't need to draw more lands. So let's go ahead and hopefully draw into like a Lodestone Golem. That would be a pretty sweet turn 3. Walking Ballista is pretty good turn 3. We got some options, that's for sure. Alright, so our opponent led on Island Serum Visions, one of the better starts in their deck. So we actually lead on the Chief Engineer over the Ethereum Sculptor. So for our opponent's Path to Exile, we prefer this one get pathed. Nothing's getting pathed this turn. Alright, so start slamming Grand Architects. Seems good. Unfortunately, we didn't hit some nice big payoff to cast, like Lodestone Golem this turn, or Walking Ballista, but that's okay. Alright, so we can go ahead and cast this Ethereum Sculptor off of these two. And then we can go ahead and pass the turn, unfortunately. Not super exciting, but I think getting the additional creature there in play when I have the Grand Architect in hand is pretty useful. No, opt. Alright, so likely we are losing this game. No way. Well, any order is the only way to hit that button. That's unfortunate. See what we can do about it. Here's my Grand Architect. Here's my Hanger Pack Walker for one. Alright, sealed through end of turn. See what we get. It's unlikely there's only one toughness removal, but technically I should leave up Grand Architect, because if they're going to gut shot my Hanger Pack Walker, I'd actually like to keep it around for a little while longer. Build him up a little bit. Build him into all he can be. He could be an army if he wanted to be. He could do it. I know he could. So, opponent's probably gonna Wrath. Oh, not gonna Wrath. Oh god, they're gonna give us the D, aren't they? They're gonna give us the D. Search for his counter. That's not what I was expecting. Alright, let's see what we got here. Path during my upkeep. Okay, so small mistake on my opponent's part is I actually still get to tap this for mana and then use it to pay for my Hanger Pack Walker. So correct to generally wait, so I guess I don't get a land, but I still get to use the mana from my creature. So let's go ahead and pass back to them and hope they don't have verdict. No verdict, no verdict. It's gonna be the mantra of this league, I swear. Hopefully I get to show you guys this deck against more than just blue-white control. But currently it does not look like it, right? So since they're on Terminus, does that mean they're also on Jace? And if they are, then it's definitely correct that we brought in that Needle. So we're about to get our dudes tapped during combat, more than likely. Path during my start turn? Snap Path, okay. Yep. Unfortunately, I have no way to actually sacrifice this Hanger Pack Walker, so this is going to happen. Might as well grab the land. Beautiful. Could not have asked for a much better draw there. Let's go ahead and cast this Lodestone Golem. Let's go ahead and get the beat started. Beat by Dr. Dre. Boom. Let's go. No blocks. Well, I mean, their best blocks pretty much suck, so. This card's gonna kill us, and this card's gonna kill us. Maybe this one. Depends which one they choose to activate, really. Hey, I can untap their Azcanta. Ooh, they can untap their Azcanta. That's some spicy attack. Okay. Come on. Smuggles. Smuggles is good. Alright, cool. Let's go. Don't want to convoke. I want to hit you with these creatures this turn. Straight negate, sure. Unfortunately, can't stop that. I'm going to hit you for 2 though, and I'm probably losing this game. Well played on our opponent's part. Our flying plan matched up pretty poorly against these Celestial Colonnades when our opponent still had 16 life. Although currently Snappy is going to beat us to death. Ah. I think we can go ahead and scoop it up here. Not really a series of draws to beat our opponent's draw. So, confirmed pretty bad against blue-white control so far, but we're moving into a third match to see how it goes there. Once again, my name's Alex. I'm trying for the first time streaming Blue Steel. It's an Artifact Synergy combo deck that I believe has a lot of potential, but we're trying to find out the right build of it, find out what its good matchups are, what its bad matchups are. Currently, we have not played nearly enough matchups to draw any decisive conclusions, but it seems to be faring fairly poorly against the uncounterable sweeper deck. So hopefully we're doing much better for the remaining matches of our league, and hopefully we get to play some Magic. So let's see. Was there any lines in there we could have taken differently? The only thing I could have thinking of is earlier sideboarding in Pitting Needle earlier, but I don't think that we're going to be. Hopefully, I hope that since Modern is this wide and diverse format with many, many people playing it, that we are not going to go against blue-white control for the 3rd time in a row. If we do, then that's perfectly fine. We're going to play it out. We're going to try our best to win. But I'm hoping we don't go against blue-white control for the 3rd time. Alright, let's see if we won the die roll. We won the die roll. That's a good start. Alright, we got a thing into a taxing thing into a pumping thing. So let's go ahead and keep it. Not even close to our net draw again, but this is a fine draw because we're able to, you know, cast things, and things are great. So right now they're thinking we're the world's worst affinity draw. Our opponents are always going to be confused with what we play. Once in a great while, we'll probably hit that one guy that also likes to play Blue Steel. Oh no, we're going to get our thing discarded. No, push my thing. Push my Signal Pest. Push my Signal Pest. No. Well, there goes our Thorn. Alright, so playing as Grand Architect and the Grand Architect. The opponent's going to take a moment and read what our magic cards do, because they're like, what the heck do these magic cards do? So they should obviously take the Thorn of Amethyst here because it's our only turn 2 play, and they likely, yeah. But maybe we not lucky enough to Moto Bug into the draw off the top. So let's go ahead and pass the turn back to them. Grand Architect is fine next turn. It allows us to start swinging for 3. And then subsequent turns it allows us to start swinging for 5. So that should be a lot. That should do a lot for us. It actually swings for 6 because of Exalted. Alright, sure. Abrupt Decaying that while... Ooh. I actually think I want to draw land one more time. So obviously we're against either Black Green or Jund, either one of those rock style decks. So we got what we wished for. We are not playing against blue white control. However, we're playing against Jund, and we might get Kolaghan's Commanded here. Oh dear God, it's a Liliana and the Lost Hope. So it's the end of our Signal Pest. Yep. There's not much of our deck that can survive this Liliana, but luckily Grand Architect allows me to start ticking away at it. I don't like that we have to hit this Lily, but we actually do over hitting them. Luckily it's Mausoleum Wanderer. If we draw a land next turn, will be way bigger than Liliana can kill. Yeah, no power on my Grand Architect. Bloodbraid Elf, maybe? Oh no. Oh no! Well, it's dead, Jim. Well, it's dead, Jim. Huh. I actually think I like playing out my 2/1 mana threats. Hitting Lily for 1. Once again, I hate hitting the Planeswalker because our deck does not have a big way to come back once it starts getting on the back foot. But it's really the most appropriate line. We got a couple of 2/2s, so unfortunately I predict, and I'm no psychic here, but our opponent is playing Jund, that this will die, and then one of these will shortly be killed by Liliana. If my opponent sees the very smart line, they will Liliana my Mausoleum Wanderer first, so I cannot use it to counter a kill spell for my Grand Architect. That being said, Mausoleum Wanderer is kind of an interesting interaction with it, as most people just feel that it is Spell Pierce, or sorry, Force Spike. So they probably won't see the line of shrinking at first. That being said, never play a game where you expect your opponent to play anything less than perfectly, because that is how you will lose the game. However, here we are. So maybe I was wrong. So got him, I guess. Still way on the back foot, but got him, I guess. Ironically, with the second Grand Architect, we actually can attack into this Liliana through the Bloodbraid Elf, through the plus on it. Yeah, that's fine. I keep wanting to hit spacebar because I've been playing Hex recently, and that moves to the next phase. I wonder if they attack. They really shouldn't. Oh my god, they are. Okay, so does this say that they have Bolt? I mean, we have Judge's Familiar, so is Bolt even good? I have to play the Lord. So Mausoleum Wanderer would be nice, but I have to play the Lord, because now I get to actually kill the Liliana. Any minute now. Alright, cool. Alright, so Liliana definitely absorbed a lot of damage from my opponent, but that's okay. She's off the table now. Hopefully our opponent is not running something like Damnation, and we're able to get there with our little blue dudes. Maybe they're thinking Judge's Familiar is now like Mausoleum Wanderer. They'll probably be more careful for the rest of this match, but it's good to get that little bit of an advantage of playing that rogue deck. You know what I mean? Because if they had just led on uptaking the Liliana, that Kolaghan's Command would have absolutely resolved, since they would have had 1 mana for the Blood Crypt. Yeah. Maybe they didn't read our cards at all, because I'm not sure how they planned on finishing off a Grand Architect with a 2 damage Kolaghan's Command, but hey, I am not the Jund expert here. I don't know who Udyr is, but he is probably the expert. Alright, so I'm not actually going to block this, even though there's a good chance that they're about to Damnation us. Just a goof. Holy sh... Goof is on the loose. That is a big goof. Alright, let's go ahead and play this Mausoleum Wanderer. Alright, we can safely hit him in the air for 3. These 2/4s on the ground are going to be a lot rougher to use. So this Mausoleum Wanderer is actually like Super Spell Pierce currently. It's currently counter unless they pay 3. You're gonna hear this a lot probably, but if we draw Walking Ballista, I think we win the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 power Walking Ballista is pretty good, I heard. I'm getting Artifact Creature, Planeswalker, all that other stuff for Tarmogoyf is pretty good too, though. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, this time we're going to go ahead and block. We're going to take the hit from the Goyf, though. That's fine. See if they actually had something to punish the Grand Architect. Or if we took 3 for free last turn. If it's K command, we're just going to counter it again with Mausoleum Wanderer. Okay. Definitely not letting you buy back a Bloodbraid off. So we're only hitting. So we're going to hit them for 3, 4, 5. Ooh, maybe not. If they play another Goyf here, we probably just lose the game. That's what it's looking like. Is another Goyf. That's another Goyf. Alright. Give them a good game, because that was good. That was a good interactive game 1. But we're not going to be able to get there. These Goyfs are huge. Alright, so Grafdigger's Cage is nothing. Dismember will usually get there. Hey, our opponent says neat deck. I haven't seen it before. Alright, so I'm gonna let him know that I'm gonna upload it to YouTube. It's called Blue Steel. Alright, so that's awesome. My opponent shows some interest in our deck. Unfortunately, their deck's going to be awesome because their deck full of Kolaghan's Command is very good against us. Traxos is probably not going to be very good here, but Basilisk Call is going to be an MVP if it sticks around. Alright. Therium Sculptor, a couple lands. Smuggles Copters. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so turn 1, Blinkmoth, Nexus, go. Wonder if my opponent's gonna cast Thassa's Ramp. Haha. My opponent's remarking they will try to make less embarrassing mistakes now that they know I'm recording. I'm going to take a little peek, make sure I'm still actually recording. I am still actually recording. This is fabulous. Since the first go, I wasn't 100% sure it would still be running. So I'm curious if they take the Smuggler's Copter or the Therium Sculptor, but either way, we have a play on 2. If they take Smuggler's Copter, I'm definitely jamming a Therium Sculptor on 2, although it's likely going to need a fall off a cliff or whatever. Alright, so we actually lead on the Therium Sculptor, even though it's likely about to get pushed off a cliff. So we'll just play the Chief Engineer next turn anyways. Let's see what we got. Maybe our opponent just kept Inquisition into Goyf. It's not bad because that puts Artifact and Sorcery, maybe land in the graveyard immediately. Hopefully we can just Lodestone Golem them out of the game. That would be the ideal, of course. See, next turn, since they're reduced by 1, they cost 3. I play a land, play a Chief Engineer, 1, 2, 3. Looks like I play Chief Engineer and a Lodestone Golem. That seems pretty decent. Let's find out what happens here. Is it a Goyfaruni? It is a Goyfaruni. That is a 3/4 Goyf. That is a very decent sized Goyf. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can cast Chief Engineer. I can cast Mausoleum Wonder. I can cast Lodestone Golem. Fabulous. Now, that was a heck of a turn. Alright, so now it's my opponent's turn. I did a few things. My opponent's probably verifying that all of that was legitimate. Unfortunately, he was able to get a good sized Tarmogoyf down before I was able to get Lodestone Golem down. And I should really turn off these auto yields. I have a Mausoleum Wonder in play. Lodestone Golem is definitely going to be our next turn's play. And yeah, it looks like we can actually play and smack them with a Blink Moth, which looks pretty, and a Mausoleum Wonder, which looks pretty good. They will probably have to trade off their Tarmogoyf for my Lodestone Golem, which means that should I actually keep Lodestone Golem back and continue taxing them and just hitting them in the air? Seems pretty reasonable. Curious if my opponent's going to miss his land drop here. And that's actually why, oh, it's a tap land. Interesting, okay. So let's find out what he's casting here. Paying costs leads me to believe it's going to be a Brutality, which he's realizing he can't because of a Lodestone Golem in play. Luckily, I'm going to be slamming another one next turn. Okay. Definitely can't attack me, though, right? So, I mean, if he attacks me for 3, then I'm definitely attacking back for 5. Okay, cool. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Grand Architect might be the mother of all draws right there. Alright, so unfortunately, we won't be able to hit with Blink Moth this turn. Or cast this Grand Architect. Non-artifact spells. Symmetrical. That's fine. Any island we draw would have allowed us to cast it, but unfortunately we're gonna just be doing this, so let's go. So we're gonna swing in here for 2. Because we don't want to quite lift the Lodestone Golem tax yet. Because if we draw, well, depending on our opponent's draws, we might be able to be fairly far ahead here if we keep these Lodestone Golems alive. So let's see what we got here. Opponent's just going to take 2 down to 15, likely. All their spells costing 2 more is going to be real rough. This card's especially good against their Blood Braids. If you want to talk about cards that are good against Blood Braid, let me talk to you about Lodestone Golem. So the initial Blood Braid costs 5, and then the Cascade costs 1 more. So that'll be a total of 6 to cast your, well, on average 6 costs worth of spells. Wait a minute, that just makes it play fair. That's not too reasonable. Alright, so opponent's trying to pay costs again, so let's see if we can Mausoleum Wonder or whatever it is. Mind you, I don't fault my opponent for any of the mistakes they're making. I'm sure that most modern players have never sat across from a Lodestone Golem in their lives, let alone a Lodestone Golem standing next to a Mausoleum Wanderer. There gets to be some pretty complicated interactions there. So, none of these mistakes do I ever hold against my opponent. He seems to be very intent to not continue to make mistakes, though. I'm also very hesitant to attack with a Lodestone Golem, as that will put a creature in the graveyard and make future Goyfs a little bit bigger. And while it's not really the 4/5 Goyf that I'm worried about, the Goyf that I'm worried about is the Goyf that becomes a 5/6 when they cast an instant, such as Lightning Bolt, which would be able to kill Lodestone Golem. Unfortunately, if my opponent tries to cast a Lightning Bolt right now, it costs 3 mana just to put it on the stack, and then I have a Mausoleum Wanderer. So, kind of curious what my opponent's got going on over there. They're currently heavily contemplating their actions. You're going to find this absolutely shocking, but I'm going to say once again that one of our best draws is a Walking Ballista. There's a reason it is a 4 on the list. So let's see, we'd cast it for 1, 2, 3, 4. Note, a Walking Ballista for 4 does not kill this Tarmogoyf we are looking at. If you shoot this Tarmogoyf 4 times, the Walking Ballista will die, and there will be a creature in the graveyard. This will have 5 toughness, and I will feel very silly. So, kind of curious as to what my opponent's currently doing. They must be contemplating possibly Collective Brutality. Killing the Mausoleum Wanderer would be a pretty good line, as it would force me to sack. Okay, so... Oh. Fetching first, never a bad line. So maybe they they can't be casting a Liliana currently, as every Liliana currently printed except for the creature one. Even the creature one costs too much mana currently. So let's see what we got here. K command currently costs too much mana. What do we got here? Paying costs. Definitely Collective Brutality, right? So it's going to tap them out and basically trade their Collective Brutality for my Mausoleum Wanderer. If they target Ethereum Sculptor, I'd probably just let it go, because whatever. I mean, seriously, whatever. It's a little embarrassing that my aggro force is a little less aggro because of my Grand Architect being drawn after my Lodestone Golems. But that's okay. We appear to be in an okay position currently. I'm a little bit concerned for my opponent. They seem like a very nice player, but they seem a little low on time currently. That being said, they did win game 1, so it's less of a concern for them to be down on time, for if they win this game, there is no game 3. Very curious what spell my opponent's trying to cast, though. Definitely couldn't be a Bloodbraid Elf. If we hit him for 2 a turn, that's 7. Okay, so... it is another Tarmogoyf. Okay. Sure. Like, that's fine by us. Lands are good, artifacts are good. Another Grand Architect's like one of the few bad draws in our deck besides these Chief Engineers and Ethereum Sculptors. There is the best draw in our deck. Just the gosh darn bestest. So... Alright, so we actually got our dream draw and hit the walking ballista. Running lands would be pretty good here because we'd be able to... First land allows us to put another counter on our walking ballista. And interesting, opponent's getting a little aggressive here. This is shocking to me because I am going to hit them with these lodestone golems. Definitely not blocking with my ballista. I'm at like 20 life. Life is absolutely a resource in this situation. Curious as to what they're... Ooh, they do have the lightning bolt for my lodestone golem. Yep, those ghosts are about to hit me pretty hard. So the best draw on our deck currently is definitely a land, as it allows us to swing back for lethal. So let's see if we can hit a land and Grand Architect hit our opponent for lethal. Can we do it, chat? We did it, chat! Yeah! Yay! We did it. We did it. We did it. Let's go. Yeah! Alright, cool. So, game 3 against Jund. Alright, so it's kind of rough. We do have Basilisk Call already in our deck. We do. Do we want Trinket Mage to find it? I think that I want one Trinket Mage to find it over Judge's Familiar since it doesn't grow in power. Alright, let's go. Alright, cool. So moving to a game 3 against my opponent. This hand is a pile of absolutely keepable cards. So we're going to be able to start off on a Judge's Familiar into a Chief Engineer combo. Okay, our opponent left on Mulligan 2/6 and led on a tapped land. Okay, so we'll lead on this Judge's Familiar. We're going to go turn 2 Thorn of Amethyst into turn 3 Lodestone Golem, assuming that our opponent cannot disrupt us. I am aware they are registering Jund cards, so it is very likely they will be disrupting us. Nonetheless, if they can't, well, there we go. Okay, so our opponent is going to pass to us, so let's go ahead and tap 2, cast our Chief Engineer. Alright, let's go ahead and cast our Ethereum Sculptor with our 2 in-play creatures. Let's go ahead and use this Ethereum Sculptor to cast this Thorn of Amethyst. And then we can pass the turn back to our opponent. Alright, so next turn the plan is to definitely jam a Lodestone Golem and hopefully play the whole tax them out of the game again. So since Lodestone Golem is 1 less, we can actually just play a land and cast it and bash in for 3. Kinda curious what our opponent has here. Paying costs. It's an Ooze. Alright, sure. Ooze seems reasonable, so I won't be swinging in with Ethereum Sculptor, but I probably will still, which means I should probably use it to pay part of the cost. All of that's fine now. Does that mean I should just Ballista it next turn? That is a bit of a consideration. So, 1, 2, 3. Should be a Ballista for 3, and then I can just, yeah, okay, sure. Oh, that's definitely not what we meant to do. If we Lodestone Golem, it costs us 3. We can Ballista for 2 and shoot that. Sure. Do we like having Lodestone? No. I like having Lodestone Golem more than I like having Walking Ballista stick around. I think Lodestone Golem is a very good threat. This Walking Ballista, however, will shoot the hell out of that Scavenging Ooze. Does it though? I think I still play it for 2, but I can't shoot until they actually go to fetch. Well played by my opponent, not fetching there, as I absolutely would have shot down that Scavenging Ooze. Now it's completely safe for them to fetch because they have 2 green sources up, so it's not like I can do anything spectacular anyways. Kind of curious, Thoughtseize is about one of the few spells I can cast, maybe a Fatal Push. However, Fatal Push I'm more than happy to trade Judge's Familiar for that. So I'm kind of curious what my opponent will be casting against us. This actually is shaping up to be a game that looks like we might be able to push through and win. The fact that, yeah, so hopefully we're able to push through. Let's see, opponent playing another land tapped. That is a great sign for us. Alright, so it's very unlikely they have a removal spell currently. We hit the land, which is just fabulous. So we're going to go to combat. And we're going to swing with everything except for this Ethereum Sculptor. We don't want the free block on the Ooze and then the Ooze to grow. But we will definitely be leaving up the ability to add a counter to Walking Ballista, as it looks like we're going to be able to pace the Scavenging Ooze with the Walking Ballista. We do not have our... I didn't think we have any yields, but just in case, let's go ahead and turn them off. Alright, so smash, 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 smash. Yeah. Alright, so we got some smash orders coming in here. No real great block. If he blocks here, I 100% shoot that just for 1 damage. So I'm going to go and jam a counter on it. Hit him for 8, 9, 10. Move to end of combat, and it's his turn. Alright, so we're obviously not blocking this Ooze because, once again, we don't want to give him more food. If we can grow it to being 3 toughness, or 3 power, then it actually becomes a threat for, unfortunately, Lodestone Golem. So if we sack, then they pay. They can only eat 1 of our creatures. I can put a counter on this. I swing out, they have to block that, so we absolutely want to counter this with the bird. Alright, so saw the line. So let's see what they do here. They're correctly paying the 1, okay. But will unfortunately kill Lodestone. It's rough for our opponent because if they go to eat it, I can easily pew shoot down the Ooze, and then they will have an extra difficult time getting through. Alright, that's an interesting draw. So here we're able to attack with everything, because if they block on the Ethereum Sculptor, they die. So it's a bad line to block on the Ethereum Sculptor. They have no real great blocks in the, that I can see, so see what they get out of this. Fortunately, our opponent's down to 5 minutes on clock. I'm definitely going to be putting a counter on this ballista. I'm taking the conservative line of dying. Oh, okay, no. Definitely good. Definitely deciding not... Okay, taking the line of dying is interesting. Okay. I'm going to put a counter on walking ballista. If you go to E, I will shoot it a couple times. Yeah, no, this is fine. Here. Here. Okay. Now I'll put the counter on. We'll deal with combat damage. Alright, let's go. So the rough thing about walking ballista is I can just put a counter on it every turn, and that pressures my opponent's already low life total. So if they have some sort of wrath effect, they're forced to commit it now. I hate to keep commenting on this, but it's really rough on my opponent's poor time clock too. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and shoot him for 3 damage here, and then we'll have 3 power in play, so that'll be pretty good. Or shoot him for 2 damage, and then we'll have 3 power to attack him with. Alright. Opponent's now at 4. They have a lot of basic lands. Oh dear God. Well, the bad news is that ooze is the stuff that my nightmares are made out of. Good news is we have the opportunity to get in here for 1 if we want. So we got that going for us. I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity to get in here for 1. Alright. Feel better about life, yada yada yada. Alright. Here's my Lodestone Golem. Here's my Thorn of Amethyst. Pay 2. Okay. Go ahead, opponent. Alright, so at 3 life we have currently not enough attackers for it to be lethal, but we can pack in again for 1 with Blinkmoth Nexus next turn. Unfortunately, he's going to eat a lot with that ooze. Or something else happening. Ooh, Bloodbraid Elf cannot cast Liliana, unfortunately. Double Thorn of Amethyst in play says that unfortunately cannot cast that one. So, hasty 3-2. Grand Architect? Oh, not that lucky. Okay. So, fire this up. Attack for 1. Give my opponent their turn back. Although they're already dead to the blue lightning bolt, they did gain there. But this ooze very powerful. Hit the Judge is familiar over the walking ballista. Wonder why. This attack seems aggressive. I mean, if I no blocks, I have lethal, so I'm gonna no blocks and risk 3 damage. What you got? Well, not lethal, because he's still got creatures. I figured he had Giant Tarmogoyf. Giant Tarmo dude. Oh, okay. I'm like, you have an additional thing to cast. Oh, huh. So, haha. So you're saying this is a trinket mage, huh? Alright, let's go ahead and pay one more because it's not an artifact. This is a Trinket Mage though. So what this Trinket Mage is probably going to go grab is a Basilisk Collar. Yep. Huh. I was wrong. It's gonna grab Walking Ballista because 1, 2, 3. While not quite lethal, it's gonna be pretty close. And next turn it might actually be because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can currently gain 1 life. So if they do not have a removal spell, we will kill them next turn. So we're going to pass the turn and see what they do. Sure. Alright, so let's see what they got coming. I'm pretty sure that they're definitely going to have a removal spell, but look at the size of that Tarmogoyf. That Goyf suddenly is a lot smaller once you ate that artifact creature. Alright, so... let all this hit me. Go to 6. Die to double bolt, maybe? Cost +4. Damnation. Ooh. Ooh, well played on the opponent's part. Okay, sure. Well played on the opponent's part. Alright, so we're going to float one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It actually doesn't matter, so we can't. The whole playing that for extra mana trick doesn't really matter. Plays Ballista for 3. And pass turn. We have lethal if they have nothing, which is super unlikely. That's fine. Still have lethal. They're gonna put a creature in their hand. That's fine. Might remove a counter to shoot down the Lily. Pretty likely, actually. Actually, this is just lethal because we can animate this, move to combat, hit him. Oh my god, we're gonna do it. We're gonna win a whole match of Magic this league. Alright, so at the end of combat, we're gonna put a counter on him. And we're gonna shoot our opponent 4 times per game. Well, at least our opponent did not time out, so we actually won the game because we won the game. So, look at that. We won a whole match of Magic. See, I knew it was possible. That was a grind fest and a half against Junge. It really showcased the power of Lodestone Golem as well as the effects of Thorn of Amethyst and how taxing the opponent out of the game can be a very effective game plan. We are looking forward to playing some more Magic like that. That was some really good interactive Magic. Hopefully my opponent, Uter, if you are looking at this in the future, hopefully you also enjoyed our match as much as I did. Let's see what we got coming up next. Opponent's scared of the blue steel. Yes, I realize it's iffy deck at best, but we're going to do our best to make it the best deck it can be. Losing the die roll, that's not what you want to do. Maybe it's going to be the nut 7 card hand, and I just need one more card in order to make it the nut 8 card hand. That's probably it. Okay, so this hand is kinda the nut if I get, oh no. Oh no. I am not sure this matchup is winnable. Like, not to be a negative Nancy or anything, but our opponent's gonna read our magic card. Of course. But we're gonna get Karned. I am 100% okay trading this for an Ancient Stirrings. 100% okay. That's interesting. Okay, so this Walking Ballista is so good post-Architect, and I am just kind of flooding on lands. I think I have to get it down as 1/1. As bad as that is. Yeah, because next turn I can play Architect and plays 1/1 anyways, but this turn at least it's attacking my opponent. Tron. So our opponent's still well on their way to assembling Tron. Grab the tower. Interesting sequencing by my opponent. Alright, so here's Grand Architect. I'm glad they won't be able to Karn us next turn, but unfortunately the Lodestone Golem tax, quote unquote, won't stop them from playing a Karn when they do get their Tron together. So opponent's gonna have 5 mana this turn. See what they do with it. That's horrible for us. Literally the worst thing they could have played for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and cast our card. Go ahead and make this blue. We can't commit any more to the board because of that Oblivion Stone. So let's go ahead and hit him for 5. This should be more than enough to have him blow an O-Stone. Gotta get used to turning off those auto yields because this thing even has an activated ability. They're gonna blow the O-Stone, so let's go ahead and pop that. Let all the stuff die. Alright, so let's go ahead and play a land. Play a Signal Pest, and play a Lodestone Golem. Not that, once again, it does much, considering non-artifact spells cost 1 more. It doesn't really do much against a deck that's whole cantrip power is mostly artifacts. That being said, maybe I got lucky and, you know, maybe this is an Ugin. I don't think that's exactly lucky. What do we got? That is a Karn Liberated. They played their Sanctum of Ugin afterwards. Huh. Well then. So I can play this. And then play this. And then I get to yield to the end of the turn and hope I can smash through a Karn. Can I smash through a Karn, Father? The Karn Daddy? That's an Ulamog, isn't it? We are dead. We are so dead. We are beyond dead or deadition. Let's go ahead and concede this game. Conceded. Alright, cool. So let's see what we got here. What's our sideboard plan against Tron? Here's a Pithing Needle. That answers Karn pretty well. Alright, here's some Unified Wills. Alright, so these actual small creatures don't tend to do very good against Tron. Because, you know, Tron's a big mana deck and kind of does big mana things. Kind of just want to smash their face, so. Alright. You want to play first? Sure. Yo dog, I heard you liked Pithing Needle as a sideboard card. Yo dog, I heard you hated lands. Alright, let's go mulligan down to 5, and it looks like it might be the end of this league. I'm glad we got to get at least one match win in, showcase some of the things that Blue Steel can do. I'm going to go ahead and keep this with the Scry and hope to hit a land on top, about the best I could hope for. And I can get greedy and Scry for a Blink Moth, right? Haha. Alright, so ideally we get to go that land and Chief Engineer into Thorn of Amethyst and hopefully tax them out of actually getting to play Tron for a couple of turns, and maybe our mediocre beatdown plan will get there by turn 5 or 6, and hopefully we get there. Our opponent is currently wondering why the heck we have a Signal Pest on the stack, and I understand the confusion. Last game we were a Lodestone Golem deck, this game we are a Signal Pest deck. Blue Steel is a very wide array of things that it attempts to do in its actions. That is an expedition map, so whereas we would love to somehow have a turn 1 Thorn of Amethyst, it's literally not possible in this deck, so hopefully his turn 2 Thorn of Amethyst keeps him off of Tron. Any takers? Anyone? Yeah, I wouldn't give too good of odds on it either. Does make their Oblivion Stones a little more awkward, does make... Oh good, they had to make a Force as a land drop. Alright, so... Ironically makes Smuggler's Copter a little more awkward because non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. But I still think it's worth getting out there. So, sacrificing a point of damage this turn to get in with Chief Engineer. For just 1 point. But Smuggler's Copter in the future will hit for a lot more. Next turn I'm probably playing Walking Ballista for 2 and crewing Smuggler's Copter with it, looting away likely whatever we have unless we just hit like Lodestone Golem or something else that's absolutely just nutter butters, in which case we're just going to cast that and use it to crew the Smuggler's Copter. Alright, so we're going to begin combat, poke in a Tron opponent, and pass turn to them. I think they're wondering what they're playing against. I mean, I'm going to ask that question a lot, but they didn't crack their expedition map. Okay, well, mistakes happen. Ancient Stirring being slowed down seems awesome. Hitting Second Mind seems awesome for us. They can't cast any of their artifacts. Just an island, so that this is perfect. This is exactly what I was talking about. I am actually just going to cast this Walking Ballista for 1. Because I want to beat in with the Signal Pest now that they are definitely running slow on their Tron. Crew. Alright, let's get in there for our 5. We are definitely going to loot here because land is not necessarily better. Yeah. Great on being able to clear a land off the top. Alright, so let's see what we got going on here. So that was pretty good. Interesting. Oh. That Oblivion Stone's definitely going to give us problems. Yep. This is probably how we're going to be rebuilding. Alright, so we can't cast this Lodestone Golem in, hoping they don't have another land. That's way too silly. We are going to go ahead and loot here, even though I can't imagine a draw better than Lodestone Golem. Because it is definitely not Signal Pest, so we get to get that out of the way. Alright, pass turn to our opponent. They're gonna... Oh, if they Oblivion Stone, they lose their expedition. A third mine. I actually feel bad for our Tron opponent, even though they're about to make our life a little bit difficult. Little do they know that I'm actually hoping to rip a land to just cast this Lodestone. Oh god, that's so terrible. Alright, so we really would like a land to cast this Traxos, actually, because now we kill them and the same number of swings. This isn't as terrible as I made it out to be. As we just get to watch them assemble Tron. We are so dead. We had a few turns there where we stood a chance, but I'm pretty sure they have it now. Seven mana cast actual Karn. Cool. Ironically, couldn't have been done if I had had my Lodestone Golem. Karn passed the turn. That can't have been intentional. Sorry I've been so quiet. Getting absolutely demolished by Tron here, for sure. Yep. Alright. Good GG start, Tron opponent. Concede the game. So, really rough first league with Blue Steel, but I hope to definitely do it again. I hope to hopefully do a little bit better for you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.